Hello friends, this is Scott. I'm in my kitchen in my suburban home, and today I'm going to reveal the greatest secrets on earth. This is the family recipe to the best salsa you'll ever taste. So here's the basic ingredients as you see here, and we'll go through those individually. Again, there's some basic portions or proportions, but I'm not going to give exact measurements because everybody has a different sense of what they want, whether it's spiciness, saltiness. Some people like cilantro, some people don't like cilantro. We'll see. But the first step is you got to heat a pan, and it has no oil in it, so this is just a dry pan. Heat this pan up until it's smoking. And again, we're not wanting to cook the ingredients, we just want to singe the ingredients. So the first step is I've got 2 tomatillos. They're fairly large ones. I'd usually use smaller ones. I've got different types of peppers. I've got some cayennes and some jalapenos. And then I've got 4 tomatoes. That may be a little one too many, but we'll see. So there's 3 cloves of garlic, 2 medium onions, yellow onions, a couple cayennes, 1 jalapeno, 1 Thai chili red, and then a couple green ones. And then I'm just heating them up and singeing the skins. That's what makes this recipe really different than any recipes that you have that you don't singe the ingredients. Now you can make this recipe from store-bought ingredients, but what really makes this salsa the best is most of these ingredients are homegrown. The tomatoes, the onions, the peppers, the tomatillos, and the garlic were all homegrown. Obviously the olive oil is not. Now I always prime the blender with a little bit of olive oil and some salt. That's where I'd use my salting. I always salt to taste. Some people can use salt, some people can't. So that's a variable that you'll need to figure out for yourself, as well as the amount of peppers you put in, how hot you want. I use peppers for a little bit of spice, but it's mostly for a flavor profile. So I really like the cayennes and the jalapenos. And I'm using some Thai chilies that are really a pretty hot little pepper. So I'm throwing a couple of those in as kind of an experiment today, see how that whether it kicks up the flavor or whether it just kicks up the heat. But this is about how far I singe the ingredients. I want them a little bit blackened, but I don't want them cooked. I don't want them mushy. So you see the steam coming off here. It's a high temperature, and I just turn it off, and I'm ready to start putting these ingredients in the blender. Now I start with the tomatoes first because I want to add the liquidy material to it. I'm not adding any other liquid other than olive oil and then just the ingredients themselves. So I put the tomatoes in, and I'm going to give them a quick little blend just to get them mushed up, and then I'll add the other ingredients. So I blend up the tomatoes just a little bit, just to make sure they're nice and liquidy. And then I'm going to add the other ingredients, all of these. Now I did not put everything in the pan. I did not singe all the ingredients. There's a couple things I did not do, which is obviously olive oil and cilantro. And the lime. I did not singe the lime. As you see here, my tongs are a little bit not the right tool for this job, so I need to grab a spoon to get these small pieces of garlic and a couple of the small peppers, and we'll add those to the blender. And again, I add everything to taste. So as I'm blending, I will add salt. I'll taste it. I'll add a pepper if I think it needs more spice. I'll do those types of things. Now the lime, I just squeeze half of a lime. That's really adds a lot to the flavor, even just a little bit. You could use a whole lime if you'd like, but I'm not the biggest lime person in the world, but I like a little bit. And then I take a head of cilantro, which was store-bought, and I just rip the stems off, and I just going to blend the whole thing. Now, there's always a technical difficulty, and I blended all this material, and I salted it a couple times, and I didn't record it, apparently. So there's the mix after I'd blended all those ingredients together. And I tasted it a couple times with a spoon just to see if it needed salt, and I did add some salt and a little bit of olive oil. But here we go. Here's the flavor profile test, and it's good. Every time you do this, again, it's a little different, and you can make it your own. Add more or less salt. You can add more pepper, make it more spicy or less spicy. Again, the cilantro is a taste for some and not for others. But if you do the basic singeing and add your materials in a pretty similar proportions, with a little bit of variations, you can make the best salsa you've ever tasted. And again, that's up to you. You can change the profile. The biggest secret is do not add too much material in the blender. Add it as you go, taste it, add a little bit more, taste it, add a little bit more, taste it if you're not sure of the basic proportions you like. and just make it your own. But it is the best. Now, it's actually better several days in the fridge because the flavor just it thickens up, and it just seems like it tastes so much better as the days go by. So I really like the leftover salsa even better than the fresh salsa. So if you like this recipe, give it a try. I highly suggest it. A lot of my friends have just love this recipe, and they always want me to make it at parties and things. So give it a try. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.